Welcome back to In the Can. As we do, we are talking with some of the people that are making the films and are in the films here at the Sundance Film Festival year 2011. And with us from The Ledge, Patrick Wilson and Charlie Hunnam. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Appreciate you getting up this early.
Hey, we're here for you.
Well, I don't believe that for a minute, do I? But I think I'm here for you, actually, and I'm glad to be. Thanks for coming by. The Ledge, very interesting film. I'm very excited to see it this week. First of all, for those, it's early in the week. A lot of people may not have seen it. Why don't we talk about the premise of the film, the plot a little bit, and what we can expect when we see it.
Take it away.
Well, I think at the center of it, it's a very sweet love story that, as that love story evolves between Liv and myself, it takes on a little bit of a thriller element because Liv happens to be married.
Just happens to be married.
How's that
This whole love story you're talking about happens to be with my wife.
Yeah.
All right, it's somebody's love story, okay? Just back off for a minute.
That's how you sell the movie.
Charlie's getting all gushy over there.
We kind of start to spar a little bit as Patrick's character realizes that my character has the hots for his wife, and that manifests itself in some pretty deep theological debate. I play a devout atheist to Patrick's kind of fundamental evangelical born again Christian. So
I don't see how that could possibly be a problem.
Yeah, light stuff.
Really light. Well, The Ledge, the title of the film, it actually it revolves around your character being on a literal ledge, debating whether or not he's going to jump off or stay there.
Sure.
And you got some great acting around you, of course. Patrick, of course, is a seasoned pro. Liv Tyler. You mentioned her.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard, I think, plays a detective that is trying to kind of talk you out of this, or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's interesting, the storytelling. I mean, we start off on the ledge, as you said, and then the story kind of cuts between the time on the ledge with Terrence Howard plays the detective, who's the precinct's expert in talking down suicide cases. And so we spend, about a third of the film on the ledge. And the rest of the film is kind of told in flashback as an exploration of how I got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you like that style as actors? You get a script. Most of the time it's linear, goes from A to Z. Is there any kind of extra kind of preparation or a different viewpoint you have to take to a script like this?
Well, I mean, usually, you rarely shoot in sequence anyway. So for us, it's always out of.
It's not like Memento, right? It's it's completely
but I
backward,
think what makes this film so different and so interesting to me is you're given the set of circumstances in the very first scene. Guy literally about to jump off a ledge. Negotiator comes, in the first few scenes, to talk him down, and then you find out, and then we get into this whole theological debate, and you find out that every one of these people. Has some very specific view on religion. Terrence's character is is a Catholic, and he's presented with a set of circumstances pretty early on which questions his faith.
Right.
So everybody is dealing with faith at some level, and usually that sounds like such a heavy, dour kind of movie. But to be told through this thriller, so you really are unfolding the plot. I mean, you've got a lot of layers going on, and at the end, I guess it's a love story.
Oh, by the way, the adultery and
I guess.
But it is kind of it's interesting because we all have some level of belief system that we grow up with or choose to believe.
Right. Yeah.
But then when it comes to the test. To actually, would you actually follow through with what you have claimed for years and years and decades of your life to believe? Right. What would you actually do?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing that my wife walked away with because we started talking about this. Different people, you see yourself in different characters. Well, I mean, there's something to be said for standing up for the moral right, and well, I wouldn't go that far. And, maybe you shouldn't believe in God. Well, there is this. There's all those questions are at least brought up in the movie because we're not giving answers out. But I mean, when you are given a circumstance of like, would you die for somebody? No, like, would you really die?
And it's such a cliche thing. I would die for you.
I know, but I mean, you're really faced with this.
But
they knew nothing about the movie, and you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, is he really going to do it?" And that's what's so awesome, just to watch. And I think his performance is great, just for that alone, to literally watch this man struggle with that.
So, from your own perspective, I mean, we always bring as actors, we always bring something of ourselves to a role. What was your experience? I'm just
It's
curious because
interesting talking about this because I, was the one that was faced in this film with that question and had to explore it a lot. That idea of would I, kind of put myself in harm's way, potentially in a lethal situation to protect this person I love. And then about maybe 4.5 months ago, I got broken into, and a very, very big guy that I wouldn't ordinarily want to tango with was walking through my yard at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I happened to be working late in my pool house towards my house where my girlfriend was, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I took that guy down. So
did that surprise you?
It did. It really did surprise me, and it was just my instinct. I just said, I don't care what happens to me. There's no way he's getting into that house.
So that kind of that predetermination of, boy, if this happened, then I would do this. Sometimes that really doesn't come into play because the moment is always so unique.
You have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just that fight or flight thing, and I don't think anybody can really know. I think that's the thing with fighters. They train. You can actually spend a lot of time training yourself to fight that fight or flight instinct, but the average person, never really knows until the situation presents itself.
Right. Interesting. Did you have that same experience too? Your
My house
role was
broken into.
completely. Well, we can arrange that.
That's actually me in the yard.
That was actually you.
I just came by to say hi. I'm sorry.
The director told me I've got to hang with Charlie a little bit before we start shooting.
Hey, Charlie, are you there? Oh God!
No, but your role is quite different from his.
It is, yeah, certainly. We premiered yesterday, and that was interesting, sort of watching the reaction because I never found the character that funny at all. There's something when someone is that devout. Just painfully so, irritatingly so to everyone around them. It's jarring to a lot of people. People really find it funny, and I thought that was really interesting how it played yesterday in this screening because people were laughing at a lot of things that were happening, and I was like, these people have no idea where this movie is going.
Well, you understand that in real life we can't laugh at those people.
Right.
But the
That's
nice thing about a
exactly
movie
right.
is you're in a safe place where you can actually react in
exactly
a very human, very instinctful way.
And you also see, especially with someone that's born again, so then you always wonder, well, what are they born again from? Like, what was their history? And so you also find out my history and specifically Liv's and why she's like that. Because you can see, she gives, I honestly think it's one of the best performances of her career. To watch her, just from the get-go, their chemistry, sadly, is so good, but watching her struggle with this very human struggle of her feelings and is remarkable.
Well, I've heard that scripture from the pulpit before, and for some reason that time I didn't get the warm fuzzies. I don't know.
Different.
Yeah,
really.
a little bit. Boy, that's an interesting kind of look into that division. You know what I mean? That idea of religion where you can take one thing and run with it any way you want, depending on who you are and what your process is.
Going back and forth. That's sort of our at least common subject. It's certainly not our common ground, but it's our common subject throughout this movie.
Sure.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to see the film. It premiered last night. You saw it for the first time with an audience, and were you pleased with the reaction?
Yeah.
It sounded like it went very,
It was
very
good.
well.
You always hesitate to sort of say.
It's always a little,
like
you're a little on edge,
and
right?
here you wanted to get bought. We are still.
Well, you got plenty of time throughout the week to see it. I'm excited to see it at the end of the week too. Charlie, Patrick, thanks for joining us. The movie is The Ledge. You can see it here at the Sundance Film Festival, year 2011. Check your program guide for times and places. We'll be back with more in the can after this. Stay tuned.